watching. And if you got some Minwax, and this one says ebony, so it's a dark, almost a dark black on pine. Just showing you guys what it looks like and how easy it is to apply and what a difference it can make your wood look like. So just showing you guys that. Got some pine here sanded, made a little shelf for some old video game systems. And this stuff, if you've never used it, it's an oil-based paint, and it takes about maybe 3 to 4 days to actually dry all the way. And if you want to double coat it, I'll show you inside what I did with 2 coats. If you do 1 coat, it'll start to thin up where you could see a little bit of the white pine. But if you go over and over it, maybe you can get it as dark as you want if you keep applying more applications. So I just dipped my brush right here. I'm gonna come down here where it hasn't been painted. I'm just gonna show you guys. And it's bleeding into it. And it's so easy to apply, you just brush it off. And make sure you put some raggy clothes on, dirty clothes or whatever, something that you don't care about, because you are going to splash this on you regardless. I'm telling you, this stuff goes everywhere. I mean, look at my brush, just, I'm only wiping right there and I got splashes coming over here. And when I started, I was up here, and look, I got splashes over here. So I made sure that I'm dressed up in some clothes that I don't care about. This stuff does make your woodwork look amazing. I got some wood filler here that I filled in, you could see. And it doesn't go really good on wood glue, but it'll start to bleed away from it. But it's not a big deal where it's gonna be like very noticeable. If you're putting 2 coats on this, it'll start to bleed in, but you can see how there's some wood glue there, and you can see how it ends up. It doesn't actually bleed into the wood glue. It does bleed into the wood filler pretty good, so if I wanted to do like a 100% job, I could have did that, but it's nothing that's gonna be noticeable, I promise you that. It'll look like it's just wood grain. So I'm gonna dip my brush. One little dip of your brush goes a long way for this stuff. So I think it's about $12 to $15 for that little jar, but you could do so much woodwork with it. I think it's about 40 bucks for the gallon. You save a little bit, but just showing that off and showing how it works and what you'll end up with. And I'm gonna go show you guys the finished product inside with 2 coats. All right, just gonna start painting as I regularly would. If you guys want to keep watching, you can. If you don't, you could stop watching. So just making sure I get it everywhere. Get that look I want. This is so easy, it's fun, a kid can do it. The only thing, it's just messy, that's all. Get a dip over there. There is a lot of different colors. I like this dark look. It's more of a modern look, I think, for now. Whatever's in style at the time. But that's it. Getting it painted. Or stained, I guess. I actually, I'm staining my back deck instead of painting it, because this stuff does good outdoors. You don't have to worry about every 2 years to start, what do you call that? Peeling your paint or power washing your deck. So I really like using stains if you're a woodworker. I really like using stains on like things that I do, especially on outdoor stuff. Because the only thing it does, it might fade a little bit after 2 years. So you're not sitting there power washing for 3 hours and peeling up paint. You're just staining it again and you're good to go. So I really love stains. You could get almost any color you want. I think Home Depot even can modify your stain, but just make sure you tell them you just want a stain that's not gonna peel and crack. Because for some reason they do carry like stains that are outdoor, but after a couple years, you'll think you bought a stain and then it starts to chipping and peeling. So you want this to be oil-based and bleed into your wood. That way it repels rain and all that other stuff. And the only thing that's gonna happen, it might fade a little bit. You can just touch it up and stain it. I mean, look how easy this is. My grandma can do it. Just kidding. But anyways, that's about it. So hopefully this video helps you out on choosing what kind of stain you want. I'll go back over this so you guys can see what it's looking like and go close up to it. So that's after about maybe 2 minutes, and then you see how it's bleeding in there. It'll start to get lighter and lighter, but you could always put that second coat on maybe in about a day or two. I'm sorry, you don't put the second coat on right away. It's not really doing much for you because it hasn't bleeded in. So wait a couple days. If you want it darker, go ahead and stain it again. That's about it. Let me go inside real quick and show you guys that other one I promised you I would show you. And shelf I got a little bit dusty up there, but you could see how it got. This was about 2 coats, so it bleeded in. If you want it to get darker, keep on coating it. Some areas look a little bit darker than others, like this flat area. This video for people who don't know this, but if you were to buy this at the store, this would probably cost you about $70. But if you could build it yourself, I think it cost me $9 in wood, which was the pine board that I bought. It was a 10 inch wide by 1 inch by, I think it was like 12 feet. That was at Menards, and the Minwax was about 13 bucks. So, and that'll go a long ways. And then I used a nail gun. I think it took me less than an hour. I drew out the plans, and I was able to custom build the shelf I wanted for stacking up my old Nintendo, Sega, Super Nintendo, and then my PlayStation 2. So all of them are gonna go up there. I got the holes on the walls if you guys want to copy this design. I actually saw this at Home Goods, and that shelf was like $199. The one you saw inside with the video games on it, I think it was 4 high. And I said I could build that. Took a picture, did some measurements, and if you got a chop saw like that, you could do anything with that right there. And that was about 200 bucks. That's at Home Depot, Ryobi. Sliding miter saw, whatever you want to call it. But that's about it. If you want to copy this design, I'll go around it for you guys. You could see how it needs a second coat there where the wood filler is. But after the second coat, you'll hardly see it. I mean, I never went for a third coat, never really had the interest in getting darker than that. So that's about it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you learned something, or you could leave a comment and teach me something. When you're done using your brush, what I like to do if I'm coming back in a couple days to paint it, I wrap it up in a couple plastic bags and just leave it sitting there. Make sure no air gets in there. That way you're able to reuse that brush, because you're probably not going to be able to wash that and reuse it. Some people do use a rag for oiling when you're wiping this down. Some people use a rag. I like to use a brush, but it's all on depending what the person wants to use. One coat. You want it darker, the second coat will get darker. But I just wanted to show you guys that on areas where you have wood filler, you can dip your brush after it's dry, and you can always achieve the darkness that you want. And if you're not getting it because it's not bonding to it, lay it flat on its side, and you would have it laying down, and then you would brush it like that and let it dry thicker. See, that's where I got some wood glue at. I mean, look at that. As soon as that dries, you'll achieve the darkness that you want. Then you got some on the side. Make sure you don't have any drips or you'll be sanding it. You could always get the color that you want. It just takes time. Might take 2 coats, might take 3.